after secondary school, my first job was a teacher in a rural community in the middle region of Ghana where there was no electricity, access to basic social services were very poor, and high levels of teenage pregnancy. I saw at first hand acute poverty and decided to have a career that will contribute towards bringing hope and making a difference in the lives of vulnerable children, families, and communities. After my LSE program, I worked briefly in the mining and telecom sector and then decided to join the NGO sector. And I joined Plan International because I wanted a global career. And I also wanted to raise my family in a truly diverse and inclusive environment so they could understand the world better and make many more friends from different backgrounds. So I joined as the first HR officer, and through my work, I recruited and developed and nurtured development workers who contributed towards many programs in education, health, nutrition, water, and sanitation. So that also increased my love for development work. And then I got the opportunity to be seconded to work in Senegal with Plan International, to work in a French-speaking environment. And this was part of the talent management policy of my bosses at that time, who felt I had a potential to become a regional director of HR. But then you needed to speak both English and French. So I was thrown into the Senegalese Plan program where I had to lead a restructure in the Francophone work environment. I thereafter became regional director for Plan for Western Central Africa. I was in charge of 14 countries. And then I left Plan to join World Vision in a similar role as director of people and culture for Western Central Africa. I think after 1.5 years, they realized I had so much to offer, and I was promoted to the regional senior director of operations, which is more or less like a chief operating officer, COO role. So I was in charge of strategy, design, execution programs, fundraising, advocacy, quality assurance, humanitarian response. Did that for some time, and then Plan came back to request me to open the new program in Nigeria. So I went to open the Plan International program in Nigeria. And then whilst I was there, Ebola struck in Sierra Leone, Guinea, and also in Liberia. And then I was appointed to become the country director to run one of the largest humanitarian response programs in Plan. I was in charge of over 50 million US dollars. And the program won 5 global awards. And I won the INGO Leader of the Year in 2016, and also won the President of Sierra Leone Award for my work during that time. I then returned to the regional office in Plan as regional head of HR to support a restructuring program. And then after so many years out of the country, I returned back home. At that time, my late mom was not feeling well, and I wanted to come back home and start my own practice. I did that for some time. And then 4 years ago, Melio requested me to come and help them to build the HR architecture. I started as a consultant. I thought it was a 12-month gig. And then I became director of people and culture, which is more or less the chief HR officer for the past 4 years, where I provide HR leadership for staff in 38 countries. Now, key moments that shape my path. I think my time working in the rural communities, either as a teacher or as a development worker, helping to make a difference in the lives of vulnerable children and communities was a key moment. And then also the tough moments working either in the Sahel Food Crisis Project in Chad, Mali, and Niger in 2012, and also during Ebola in Sierra Leone, reinforced my desire to be in a workspace that helps to pursue humanity, that helps to make the world a better place and making positive difference in the lives of people. One, be clear on your career and professional pathway aspirations and pivot towards an entrepreneurial mindset anchored on values, excellence, growing your digital education skills, and being aware of the wider ecosystems that we are confronted with. That is number one. That's a very significant practical step and a mindset shift. Number two, you need to have measurable and realistic definition of what success looks like, and understand that without failure, you can't learn to become better. So failure is part of growth, but don't be a serial failure. And then number three, never stop learning and developing yourself. Be curious and have a voracious appetite for knowledge, because knowledge builds your confidence. and gives opportunities to enter into many spaces. The fourth point, you need to be resilient as a Black person or a person of color. You need to focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses. Many people focus on their weaknesses and forget about their strengths. I focus on my strengths and not my weaknesses. Now, in terms of what I wish I had known when I was making that move, I think number one, and I always share this with a lot of my mentees, LSE mentees, when they ask me the similar question, that being a person of color or a Black person in a leadership role in a global organization was going to come with a lot of scrutiny. I never knew that. I underestimated that, because your every decision, your move, the way you speak, the way you react to stressful situations, the way you handle difficult conversations is always subject to more scrutiny than other people and other races. So that is number one. And number two, not all people who come into contact with you will treat you nicely as you treat them. But then don't be discouraged or disempowered. Don't stop being good to people. Don't stop showing your humanity. Focus on the work, focus on the impact, and that is what gives you job satisfaction and personal growth. I mean, there are a lot of challenges. First of all, number one, understanding the culture of the organization and adapting to it without losing your authenticity. That is very important. You need to understand the culture of the organization and adapt to it without losing your authenticity. That is very important. Number two, having emotional intelligence to navigate subtle rejection or disrespect, especially when other colleagues try to diminish your contribution, or you have to explain yourself over and over again because people are not happy with the answers you are given, and they try to provoke you to lose your focus. So emotional intelligence as a person of color is very important in a global organization. You need to prioritize your well-being. You cannot give what you don't have. Life is short. I always say it. Life is short. Prioritize your well-being. Work hard, enjoy a good life, but prioritize your well-being. You have to pause at certain moments and recharge to get your focus and your energy at the right level. So your well-being is very important. I don't joke with my well-being. It is also important to see the wider funding ecosystem, which is changing. The fundraising landscape for NGOs has taken a hit due to the broader macro political economic ecosystem that we are facing. A lot of NGOs are restructuring to align with their new funding realities. Okay, so many NGOs are having to ask tough questions for them to be effective and efficient. So it is a tough labor market right now. And what is also clear is that the work of NGOs will never go away as they complement the role of state actors in many countries where access to basic services like quality education, health, nutrition, gender rights are not guaranteed. So whilst you need to understand the challenge of organization and adapt to it without losing your authenticity, whilst you need emotional intelligence, while you need to prioritize your well-being at the broader level, you also need to understand the fundraising landscape that NGOs are facing. So it's tough. The labor market is now tough. Opportunities. I mean, a career in the NGO world gives you an opportunity to work on cross-functional projects that add value to the lives of many ordinary people, right? You have the opportunity to do stuff across the world, which is a great experience. There are various opportunities for graduates in the humanities. Everybody who is studying at LSE, every Black person, alumni who studied in the humanities in the LSE has a role in the NGO sector. Whether you want a role in strategy, project management, program design, digital communication, strategic communication, issue-based advocacy, research, knowledge management, quality assurance, risk management, whether you want to be a journalist or you want to be an individual contributor, the NGO space has a lot of opportunities for LSE graduates because of the nature of courses and programs that LSE offers. Any LSE graduate, especially Black LSE graduate, irrespective of your area of study, you can have a fulfilling career in the NGO sector. And of course, getting to travel and meet people from different backgrounds, learning from different cultures, eating different dishes of food beyond the Ghanaian jollof and fufu that I love is also one way that I would describe as an opportunity when you have the opportunity to work globally. Number one, anybody who works in the NGO social impact space has made an intentional choice to thrive in an organization that focuses on humanity and not necessarily money. Because if you want to focus on money, there are other lucrative labor markets where you can have that. So many people who work in the NGO sector have made that intentional choice. And this should not be misunderstood as if they don't know what a good life is. They know what a good life, but their definition of good life is contributing towards humanity. And so people should not misunderstand that as not wanting a good life. That's number one. Number two, don't misunderstand the not-for-profit tag to mean a laissez-faire stroll in the park performance culture. Actually, if you work in NGOs, that is where you come across very hard qualitative and quantitative KPIs around processes, outputs, outcomes, impact, and change. Indicators that donors or governments or partners and communities expect NGOs to demonstrate to show accountability and to show where the money is going. So don't misunderstand the not-for-profit tag to mean a weak performance culture. No, it's also tough, and they have tough reporting schedules, and they are tough reporting expectations, and they are tough performance culture standards in NGOs. And the last point, the third point, don't misunderstand the not-for-profit tag to mean a slow-paced, sleepy work culture. No, NGOs often have a frenetic, fast-paced environment due to the humanitarian imperative to move with speed to make a difference in the lives of communities who are living in poverty. So those are the three things that a lot of people misunderstand, and it's important to demystify some of those myths. As a Black person, I love my color, I love my accent, I love where I come from. I'm proud of a fellow Black person, and I'm always filled with joy when I meet a Black person. Anyway, so our culture and upbringing is anchored on love, compassion, Ubuntu, which means unity, excellence, togetherness. If you touch one member of the family, you touch everybody else in the village. That is the spirit of love and resilience. And that is the strength that Black professionals, by virtue of our upbringing, bring into every work system or space that they go. Number one. Now, so based on that, don't stop believing in your capabilities and your talents and your dreams. Okay? Invest in building networks of safe spaces within your ecosystem. That is very important. It's good to have networks. It's good to have relationships. It's good to invest in relationship with Black professionals, Black mentors who have succeeded in their fields and who have a lot to share, right? Now, what strengths do they bring? Because of our upbringing, because of who we are, and because we always have to prove ourselves more than other people from other races, we come with resilience and a toughness and a thickness of skin that you can never push away. So wherever we go, we come with resilience, we come with diversity, we come with inclusivity, because love and a care for humanity and a dream to transform and create a better life is what keeps us going. Any Black person you meet has these dreams, and that is the strength we bring. We we bring energy and positive vibe, right? If you walk into any workplace and there are persons of color there, you will feel it. It's not a sleepy, depressing mood. No way. We have energy, and you will feel the noise. We bring sense of humor and a soft side of life, right? If you look at the fact that Black people by default, from where we've come from, we don't have the benefit of many other races in terms of development and access to good standards of living. You always have to fight to get something. And because of that, we also are able to laugh over stuff. There are times that I remember when I was a child, my friends used to have a joke, even when we had not eaten, we could still have jokes and smile, even when we had no food in our stomach, right? We always have a reason to smile, despite the adversity around us. And my last point is, we are tough, but we show love. And that's why we are champions in various spaces in the world.